Kim Dae-ho rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the control panel again. The numbers on the screen made no sense. He had been working at Luna Station for 5 years, but he had never seen anything like this before. The power levels are going crazy, he said to himself. The quantum communication array was supposed to be running a simple test. Just a basic message to Mars base. Nothing special, but something was wrong. The machine hummed louder than usual. Red warning lights started flashing across the control room. Kim Dae-ho pressed buttons quickly, trying to stop whatever was happening. But the system would not listen to him. "Park Soo-jin, I need help down here," he called into his radio. Park. Soo-jin was his boss. She ran the whole interstellar communications division. If anyone could fix this, it was her. "What's wrong, Dae-ho?" Her voice came back through the radio. "The quantum array is acting up. Power levels are off the charts. I can't shut it down. I'm coming down now. Don't touch anything else." Kim Dae-ho stepped back from the controls. Through the big window of the control room, he could see the massive dish of the communication array. It was pointed at Mars, just like it should be. But something felt different. The air around the dish seemed to shimmer, like heat waves on a hot day. Park Soo-jin ran into the control room. Her face was worried. She looked at the screens and her eyes went wide. "This is impossible," she said. "The power output is 10 times higher than normal. Where is all this energy coming from?" "I don't know. It just started doing this when I began the test." Lee Woo-bin burst through the door next. He was the station's quantum physicist. His job was to understand how their new communication system worked. But right now, he looked just as confused as everyone else. "The quantum field readings are insane," he said, looking at his tablet. "This thing is broadcasting on every frequency at once, not just to Mars. It's sending signals everywhere." "Everywhere?" Park Soo-jin asked. "I mean everywhere. The signal is going out in all directions, and it's not stopping at our solar system. The quantum entanglement effect is carrying it much further than that." Kim Dae-ho felt his stomach drop. "How much further?" Lee Woo-bin looked at his tablet again. His face went pale. "If my calculations are right, this signal is reaching every corner of the galaxy. And it's getting there almost instantly." The three of them stood in silence for a moment. The machine continued to hum and flash its warning lights. Outside, the communication dish kept sending its message into space. "What was the message?" Park Soo-jin asked quietly. Kim Dae-ho looked at his screen. Just the standard test message. "Hello, is anyone out there? This is Luna Station calling Mars base. Please respond." "That message is going across the entire galaxy?" Lee Woo-bin asked. "Looks like it." Park Soo-jin started pressing buttons on the control panel. "We need to shut this down now, before it gets worse." But nothing they tried worked. The system had taken control of itself. The power kept growing stronger. The signal kept broadcasting. "Why isn't it stopping?" Kim Dae-ho asked. "I think the quantum field created a feedback loop," Lee Woo-bin explained. "It's feeding energy back into itself, making itself stronger." "In simple words, please." "The signal is making itself bigger and bigger, like a snowball rolling down a hill." Hours passed. The three engineers tried everything they could think of. They called in more help. They contacted Earth. They even thought about shutting down the entire station. But nothing worked. Finally, after 6 hours, the machine stopped on its own. The lights stopped flashing. The humming died down. The quantum field readings returned to normal. "Is it over?" Park Soo-jin asked. Lee Woo-bin checked his instruments. "Yes, the signal stopped, but the damage is already done." "What damage?" Kim Dae-ho asked. "That signal went everywhere. I mean literally everywhere in the galaxy. Any species out there with radio receivers would have heard it." The control room fell silent again. Outside, space looked the same as always. Black and empty and quiet. But Kim Dae-ho knew that wasn't true anymore. Somewhere out there, maybe thousands of different alien species had just heard humanity's first message to the stars. "What do we do now?" he asked. "We wait," Park Soo-jin said, "and we hope that whoever heard that message is friendly." But there was something else they didn't know. Something that would change everything. The signal that had just spread across the galaxy was not just a simple radio message. It carried something special, something that only humans could create. The quantum field that powered their communication system was connected to the human brain in ways they didn't understand. When Kim Dae-ho's thoughts and emotions mixed with the quantum energy, it created a unique signature, a pattern that had never existed in the galaxy before. This pattern was harmless to humans. They couldn't even detect it. But for other species, it was different. Very different. Far across the galaxy, alien ships suddenly lost power. Space stations went dark. Entire fleets fell out of hyperspace and drifted helpless in the void. The Altarian Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, watched their greatest warships shut down without warning. The Vex Collective, masters of biotechnology, saw their neural networks collapse. The Korthak military machine, feared across the galaxy, found their weapons systems dead. Every advanced species in the galaxy had one thing in common. They had evolved beyond simple electronic technology. They had merged their biology with their machines. Their brains controlled their ships directly. Their thoughts powered their technology. But Kim Dae-ho's signal disrupted all of that. It created interference in the neural pathways that connected alien minds to their machines. It was like static on a radio, but for thoughts instead of sound. The aliens didn't know what had happened. They only knew that something had attacked them. Something powerful enough to shut down their technology across the entire galaxy. And the attack had come from a small, unknown system on the edge of space. They had never heard of humans before, but now they would never forget them. Back on Luna Station, Kim Dae-ho was filling out his incident report. He wrote down exactly what had happened. A power surge during a routine test. Equipment malfunction. Signal broadcast beyond intended range. He marked it as a minor technical problem. He had no idea that he had just started the most important event in galactic history. Park Soo-jin stood by the window, looking out at the stars. "Do you think anyone heard us?" she asked. "I hope so," Kim Dae-ho replied. "It would be nice to know we're not alone." Lee Woo-bin was still studying his data. The quantum readings from the incident were unlike anything he had ever seen. There were patterns in the energy that seemed almost alive, almost intelligent. "There's something strange about this signal," he said. "Something I don't understand yet." "What do you mean?" Park Soo-jin asked. "The quantum signature. It's not random. There's a pattern to it, like it was designed for a specific purpose. But we didn't design it. It was just an accident. That's what makes it so strange." 3 weeks later, they would understand what Lee Woo-bin meant. 3 weeks later, the first alien ships would arrive at Earth, and humanity would learn that accidents can change the course of history. The galaxy would never be the same. Choi Young-soo never thought he would be Earth's first ambassador to alien species. 3 weeks ago, he was just a diplomat dealing with trade agreements between Earth and Mars. Now he stood in the largest meeting room on Luna Station, waiting to meet beings from another world. The first alien ship had appeared 2 days ago. It came out of nowhere, just materializing near Jupiter. Then more ships arrived. Big ones, small ones. Ships that looked like they were made of crystal. Ships that seemed to be alive. "Are you ready for this?" Park Soo-jin asked. She stood beside him, looking nervous. As head of communications, she would help translate whatever the aliens wanted to say. "No," Choi Young-soo answered honestly. "But I don't think anyone could be ready for this." Han Ji-woo entered the room. She was in charge of Earth's defense systems. Her job was to keep everyone safe during this first meeting. She looked serious, the way she always did when she was worried. "The alien ships are holding position," she reported. "They're not moving closer, but they're not leaving either. It's like they're waiting for something." "Waiting for what?" Choi Young-soo asked. "An explanation, probably. We still don't know why they're here." The communication system crackled to life. A voice spoke in a language none of them had heard before. It sounded like music mixed with the sound of wind through trees. Park Soo-jin worked quickly on her translation computer. The machine had been learning alien languages from the radio signals they had been receiving. It wasn't perfect, but it was getting better. "They want to talk," she said. "They're asking for our leaders to come forward." "Tell them I'm here," Choi Young-soo said. Park Soo-jin spoke into the microphone. Her words were changed by the computer into the alien language. A few moments later, the aliens responded. "They're coming aboard the station," Park Soo-jin translated. 3 representatives from different species. Han Ji-woo checked her weapon. I don't like this. We know nothing about them. They could be dangerous. If they wanted to hurt us, they would have done it already, Choi Young-soo said. Look at their ships. They're much more advanced than ours. If they wanted war, we would already be dead. The docking bay doors opened with a hiss. The first alien to enter was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. The second looked almost human, except for the silver eyes and pointed ears. The third was the strangest of all. It seemed to be made of living metal, constantly shifting and changing shape. Choi Young-soo stepped forward. Welcome to Luna Station. I'm Choi Young-soo, representing the human government. The blue-skinned alien spoke first. The translation came through clearly now. I am Commander Velith of the Altarian Empire. This is Counselor Nexus of the Vex Collective and General Korv of the Korthak Military. We're honored to meet you, Choi Young-soo said. This is a historic moment for our species. Historic, yes, Commander Velith said, but not in the way you think. The tone of the conversation changed immediately. Choi Young-soo felt the temperature in the room drop. Something was wrong. We're not here for peaceful contact, General Korv said. His voice sounded like grinding metal. We're here for answers. Answers? To what? Choi Young-soo asked. 3 weeks ago, your species launched an attack on every major civilization in the galaxy, Counselor Nexus explained. Ships were disabled. Stations went dark. Millions of lives were put at risk. Choi Young-soo's mouth fell open. Attack? We didn't attack anyone. We've never even left our solar system. Don't lie to us. General Korv stepped closer. We detected the source of the signal. It came from this station. Park Soo-jin quickly explained about the communication test, the power surge, the accident. But the aliens didn't seem to believe her. You expect us to believe this was an accident? Commander Velith asked. A signal that shut down technology across the entire galaxy? No species is that primitive. Primitive? Han Ji-woo stepped forward. What do you mean by that? Your technology, Counselor Nexus said. We've been studying your communications. You still use electronic computers, separate from your biology. No neural interfaces, no bio-integration. It's like something from a museum. So? Han Ji-woo asked. What's wrong with electronic computers? The 3 aliens looked at each other. They seemed confused by the question. Bio-neural integration is the natural evolution of technology, Commander Velith explained. Every advanced species learns to merge their minds with their machines. It's more efficient, more powerful, more elegant, and more vulnerable, Lee Woo-bin said quietly. He had been listening from the back of the room. That's why our signal affected your ships. What do you mean? Counselor Nexus asked. Lee Woo-bin walked forward. Our quantum communication system created a specific type of interference. It disrupts neural pathways, but only the artificial ones. The connections between brains and machines. That's impossible, General Korv said. No species can generate neural interference naturally. It requires specific technology designed for that purpose. Unless, Lee Woo-bin continued, the species never developed neural interfaces in the first place, unless they stayed with simple electronic systems. The room fell silent. The aliens stared at the humans. The humans stared back. You're saying, this was really an accident? Commander Velith asked. Yes, Choi Young-soo said. We didn't even know other species existed until you showed up. Impossible, General Korv repeated. No species stays at the electronic level. It's too limiting, too primitive. Maybe, Han Ji-woo said, but it also means we can't be controlled by neural interference. She had meant it as a simple observation, but the aliens heard it differently. They heard it as a threat. Yoon Hye-jin entered the room at that moment. She was Earth's best expert on alien biology. She had been studying the data from the alien ships since they arrived. The neural pathways in your species are fascinating, she said to the aliens. Much more complex than human brains, but also much more dependent on external support. External support? Counselor Nexus asked. Your bio-neural interfaces. You can't function without them, can you? Your brains have evolved to need the connection with your machines. Of course, Commander Velith said. Why would we want to function without them? The integration makes us better, faster, smarter, but also more vulnerable, Yoon Hye-jin pointed. Out. If something disrupts the connection, you're helpless. Which is exactly what happened when our signal went out, Li Wubin added. General Korv's metal body shifted angrily. Are you threatening us? No, Choi Young-soo said quickly. We're just trying to understand what happened. But the damage was done. The aliens now understood that humans had accidentally discovered their greatest weakness, and humans understood that they had accidentally found their greatest strength. This meeting is over, Commander Valeth announced. We will report back to our governments. The Galactic Council will decide how to deal with this situation. Wait, Choi Young-soo called. Can't we work this out? Talk about it? There is nothing to discuss, General Korv said. Your species represents a threat to galactic stability. That threat must be eliminated. The aliens left the station as quickly as they had arrived. Their ships moved away from Luna Station but stayed in the solar system. Well, Han Ji-woo said after they were gone. That went better than I expected. Better? Park Soo-jin asked. They basically declared war on us. Yes, but now we know something important. Our technology works against theirs. They're more advanced, but they have a weakness we can exploit. Choi Young-soo sat down heavily in a chair. I became a diplomat to prevent wars, not start them. You Ho didn't start this war, Yoon Hye-jin said. Kim Dae-ho's accident started it, and it might be the best thing that ever happened to humanity. How can you say that? Choi Young-soo asked. Because now we know we're not alone, and we know we have something that makes us special, something that even the most advanced species in the galaxy don't have. Independence, Han Ji-woo added. We don't need machines to think for us. We can operate on our own. Outside the station, more alien ships were arriving. The message was clear. The galaxy had noticed humanity, and they were not happy about what they had discovered. But humanity was about to prove that sometimes being primitive was the most advanced thing of all. Song Min-ho loved old things. As Earth's chief archaeologist, he spent his days digging through humanity's past. But today, he was digging through something much more recent. Computer files from the last 100 years. There has to be something here, he muttered to himself. The alien accusations had made him think. What if the signal from Luna Station wasn't the first time this had happened? He pulled up old radio telescope data from the 20th century. Scientists back then had been looking for signals from space. They found lots of strange things, but they always explained them away as equipment problems or natural phenomena. Song Min-ho looked at the data with new eyes. Pattern after pattern jumped out at him. Radio interference that happened during solar flares, computer glitches during space missions, communication breakdowns that no one could explain. Kang So-young, you need to see this, he called to his colleague. Kang So-young was an expert on artificial intelligence. She had been studying the alien neural networks since first contact. She understood how their biotechnology worked better than anyone. What did you find? She asked, looking over his shoulder. Look at this data from 1977. The WOW! Signal. Radio astronomers detected a strong signal from space. It lasted 72 seconds, then disappeared. They never heard it again. So, that could be anything. Look at the quantum signature analysis I ran on it. Song Min-ho pointed to his screen. It matches the pattern from the Luna Station incident. Exactly. Kang So-young's eyes went wide. That's impossible. We didn't have quantum communication technology in 1977. No, but we had radio telescopes, and we had human operators. Look at this next one. Song Min-ho showed her data from the Apollo moon missions. During several flights, the astronauts reported strange interference with their communication systems. The interference always happened when they were excited or stressed. The pattern is the same, Kang So-young said slowly. But how? I think I know, Song Min-ho said, but you're not going to like it. Lim Jun-soo entered the room at that moment. He was documenting everything that happened during first contact for the history books. His job was to make sure future generations understood how this all began. Any luck-finding answers? He asked. Maybe, Song Min-ho said. But it's going to change everything we thought we knew about ourselves. He pulled up his analysis on the main screen. Charts and graphs filled the display. Lines of data stretched back decades. The quantum signature that disrupted alien technology isn't something our machines create, he explained. It's something we create. Humans. Our brains. That's ridiculous, Lim Junsu said. Human brains don't generate quantum fields. They do when they're connected to electronic systems, Kang So-young said. She was starting to understand. Song Min-ho is right. Look at this data. She pulled up her own research on alien neural networks. Every advanced species in the galaxy evolved past the electronic stage millions of years ago. They integrated their biology with their technology completely. Their brains became part of their machines. But humans didn't, Song Min-ho continued. We kept our brains separate. We kept using electronic computers, simple ones, primitive ones. And that makes us different how? Lim Junsu asked. Because when a human brain interfaces with electronic systems, it creates quantum interference, a byproduct of the interaction. Other species don't have this because their brains are already integrated. They don't have the separation that creates the interference. Kang So-young nodded. It's like, imagine two different types of engines. The aliens have fusion engines built into their bodies, clean, efficient, perfectly integrated. We have old combustion engines that we operate from the outside, dirty, primitive, but completely independent. And our dirty engines create exhaust. That shuts down their clean ones, Song Min-ho added. But why didn't we notice this before? Lim Junsu asked. Because it only affects bio-neural networks, Kang So-young explained. We don't have any. To us, the quantum interference is invisible, harmless. But to species with neural implants, it's like electromagnetic pulse, designed specifically for their technology. Song Min-ho pulled up more historical data. Look at this. Every major breakthrough in human computing technology was followed by reports of unusual radio interference. The first computers in the 1940s, the internet in the 1990s, the quantum processors in the 2300s. Each time the interference got stronger, Kang So-young observed, because our technology got more sophisticated, more quantum-based, and the Luna Station incident was the strongest yet because it combined quantum communication with human operation, Song Min-ho concluded. Lim Junsu sat down slowly. You're saying that humans have been accidentally broadcasting this disruptive signal for over a century? Longer than that, Song Min-ho said. I found traces going back to the first radio transmissions. But the signal only became strong enough to affect alien technology in the last 50 years. Which explains why they never noticed us before. Kang So-young added. We were too weak to matter, but now we're strong enough to shut down their entire civilization by accident, Lim Junsu finished. The three scientists stood in silence for a moment. Outside, they could see alien ships patrolling the edge of the solar system, waiting, watching, deciding what to do about humanity. There's something else, Song Min-ho said quietly. I found references to this phenomenon in even older records. Ancient ones! How ancient? Kang So-young asked. Stone Age, cave paintings, aboriginal stories, myths and legends from every culture on Earth. He showed them images on his screen. Cave paintings of people surrounded by strange energy, ancient texts describing humans with the power to disrupt the gods' magic, aboriginal dreamtime stories about the first people who could resist the spirit world's influence. Every culture has stories about humans being different, Song Min-ho explained. Special, resistant to supernatural forces. What if those weren't just stories? You think ancient humans encountered aliens before? Lim Junsu asked. I think humans have always had this ability, the quantum interference, and I think other species have known about it for a very long time. Kang So-young pulled up star charts on her computer. If that's true, then the aliens didn't just discover us 3 weeks ago. They've been avoiding us, staying away from Earth. Until now, Song Min-ho said, until our signal became strong enough to affect them across the galaxy. Now they can't ignore us anymore. But why did they evolve bio-neural integration in the first place? Lim Junsu asked. If it makes them vulnerable to us? Because it works, Kang So-young explained. For millions of years, it's been the best technology in the galaxy. Faster, more efficient, more powerful than anything else. The only species that might threaten it were primitive cave dwellers on a backwater planet. Cave dwellers who just grew up, Song Min-ho added. A communication alert sounded in the room. Park Soo-jin's voice came through the speakers. All department heads to the main conference room immediately. We're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. The 3 scientists hurried to the meeting. The main screen showed dozens of alien faces, representatives from species across the galaxy. They all looked angry. "People of Earth," one of them began. "We are the Galactic Council. We have been studying your species since your recent demonstration of power." Choi Young-soo stood up. "We've told you already. It was an accident. We mean no harm." "Accident or not, you have revealed something that changes everything," another alien said. "Your species possesses a natural ability that threatens the foundation of galactic civilization." "We're willing to work with you," Choi Young-soo offered. "We can find a solution that benefits everyone." "There is only one solution," a third alien declared. "Your species must be contained. Your technology must be controlled. Your ability to generate quantum interference must be eliminated. And if we refuse?" Han Ji-woo asked. "Then you will be eliminated instead." The transmission ended. The room fell silent. "Well," Song Min-ho said finally, "at least now we know why we're special." "Being special isn't always a good thing," Lim Jun-soo observed. "Maybe not," Kang So-young said. "But it's what we are. The question is, what do we do about it?" Outside, more alien ships were arriving. The largest fleet in galactic history was gathering at the edge of Earth's solar system. Humanity's accidental discovery of their own uniqueness had painted a target on their world. But Song Min-ho's research had revealed something else. Something he hadn't shared yet. Hidden in the ancient records were hints that humans weren't the only species with this ability. There were others, scattered across the galaxy, hiding, waiting. The time for hiding was over. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you cornered the one species that couldn't be controlled by the technology that ruled everything else. Bae Dong-wook had never seen so many ships in one place. Through the observation deck of Earth Defense Station, he watched the alien fleet grow larger every day. Thousands of vessels from dozens of species, all pointing toward Earth. "Final count?" he asked his aide. 3,412 ships, came the reply. "The largest military force in recorded galactic history." "And how many ships do we have?" 57. Bae Dong-wook nodded calmly. On paper, it looked hopeless. The aliens had superior numbers, superior technology, and millions of years of experience. But Bae Dong-wook knew something they didn't. Sometimes the biggest advantage was being underestimated. Oh Tae-kyung entered the command center. As Earth's lead diplomat, he had been trying to negotiate with the alien fleet for days. His face showed the strain. "Any progress with the talks?" Bae Dong-wook asked. "They're not interested in talking anymore," Oh Tae-kyung replied. "The Korthak Empire has taken control of the fleet. They've convinced the others that humans are too dangerous to be allowed to exist." "What about the more reasonable species? The Altarians? The Vex?" "Outvoted. The Korthak argument is simple. Humans have a weapon that can shut down galactic civilization. That weapon must be destroyed." Shin Yun-ji looked up from her engineering station. She had been working day and night to modify Earth's defense systems. They still don't understand that it's not a weapon. It's just how our brains work. "Try explaining that to the Korthak," Oh Tae-kyung said bitterly. "They think we're lying. They believe we developed the quantum interference technology on purpose." "How long do we have?" Bae Dong-wook asked. "The fleet will reach Earth orbit in 6 hours. They're demanding complete surrender. All humans to be relocated to a single planet under alien supervision. All human technology to be destroyed or modified to prevent quantum interference. And if we refuse, complete annihilation of the human species." Bae Dong-wook turned to look at the alien fleet again. From this distance, they looked like stars. Beautiful and peaceful, but he knew they carried enough firepower to turn Earth into dust. "Shin Yun-ji, are our modifications ready?" "Yes, sir. Every human ship now has quantum communication arrays installed. Low power, but enough to generate interference in a close range." "How close?" "About 10 kilometers. Any alien ship that comes within that range will lose power to their bio-neural systems." 10 kilometers isn't much space," Oh Tae-kyung observed. "It's enough," Bae Dong-wook said. "We're not trying to win a conventional battle. We're trying to prove a point." "What point?" "That humans don't need to be your enemies." The next few hours passed quickly. Earth's small defense fleet took position between the planet and the incoming aliens. Bae Dong-wook's flagship, the Soul, led the formation. It was a simple ship by galactic standards. No bio-neural networks, no adaptive armor, just electronic computers, metal hull, and human crew. "Admiral, the alien fleet is dropping out of hyperspace," the communications officer reported. "Here we go," Bae Dong-wook muttered. The alien ships appeared like thunder, massive dreadnoughts that stretched for kilometers, sleek cruisers that moved like living things, weapon platforms that bristled with energy cannons. They formed a perfect battle line, overwhelming in its size and power. A communication came through from the alien fleet. General Korv's metallic voice filled the bridge. "Human vessels, you are outnumbered 60-1. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." Bae Dong-wook activated his response. "General Korv, we don't want to fight. We're willing to negotiate." "Negotiation is over. You have 1 minute to surrender or we will destroy you. Then I guess we'll have to defend ourselves." Bae Dong-wook closed the channel and turned to his crew. "Remember, we're not trying to destroy them. We're trying to disable them. Target their primary ships only, and stay close together." The alien fleet began to advance, their weapons charged with energy that could melt mountains, their shields activated, creating barriers that could stop anything humans had ever built. 60 seconds to weapons range, the tactical officer announced. "Quantum arrays ready?" Bae Dong-wook asked. "All ships report ready, sir." "Then let's show them what primitive technology can do." The battle began exactly as expected. The alien ships opened fire with devastating energy weapons. Beams of pure destruction lanced across space toward the human fleet. But the human ships were already moving. Not away from the aliens, but toward them, straight into the weapons fire. "Evasive maneuvers," Bae Dong-wook ordered. "Get us close." The Soul shook as alien fire grazed its hull, but the ship kept moving forward. Around it, the other human vessels did the same. They ignored the massive weapons. They ignored the impossible odds. They just flew straight toward the enemy. "What are they doing?" General Korv demanded from his flagship. "Why aren't they returning fire?" "Unknown, sir. They appear to be attempting ramming attacks. Impossible. No species is that primitive." But the humans weren't trying to ram the alien ships. They were trying to get close enough for their quantum arrays to work. The Soul reached the alien battle line first. As it passed within 10 kilometers of the lead Korthak dreadnought, Bae Dong-wook gave the order. "Activate quantum array, maximum power." The effect was immediate. The Korthak dreadnought's lights went out. Its weapons stopped firing. Its engines died. The massive ship began to drift helplessly through space. "What happened?" General Korv shouted. "Report!" "All systems are down, sir. Bio-neural networks are offline. We've lost connection to the ship's computer." Across the battle line, the same thing was happening. As each human ship reached the alien formation, alien vessels began shutting down. One by one, the most powerful warships in the galaxy became floating debris. "This is impossible," Commander Velith said from his ship. "No weapon can do this." "It's not a weapon." Oh Tae-kyung's voice came through the communication system. "We've been trying to tell you. It's just how we work." The battle, if it could be called that, lasted 6 hours. The human ships moved methodically through the alien formation. They didn't fire a single shot. They didn't destroy a single enemy vessel. They simply flew close enough to shut down the alien bio-neural networks. By the end, 3,000 alien ships drifted powerless in space. Their crews were unharmed but completely helpless. Their mighty weapons were useless. Their advanced technology had become their greatest weakness. General Korv's flagship was the last to be disabled. As the Soul approached, he made one final transmission. "You may have won this battle, but you haven't won the war. More fleets will come. The galaxy will unite against you." "We don't want war," Bae Dong-wook replied. "We never did." "Then what do you want?" "To help." Instead of leaving the alien ships to drift in space, the human fleet began rescue operations. They deployed shuttles to transfer emergency supplies. They sent engineering teams to help restore basic life support systems. They treated the defeated aliens as survivors, not enemies. "Why are you helping us?" Commander Velith asked when human engineers boarded his ship. "Because that's what you do when someone is in trouble," Shin Yunji replied simply. "You help them." "But we came here to destroy you." "I know, but you failed. And now you need help, so we're helping." It took 3 days to restore basic power to all the alien ships. Human engineers worked around the clock, carefully repairing bio-neural systems that they barely understood. They could have left the aliens stranded. They could have demanded surrender. Instead, they just helped. News of the battle spread across the galaxy instantly. The most powerful military force in history had been defeated without a single shot being fired, not destroyed, just turned off, and then helped back to functionality by the very species they had come to eliminate. This changes everything, Oh Tai-kyung said to Bae Dong-wook as they watched the alien ships slowly restore their systems. How so? We proved that we're not conquerors. We're not trying to rule the galaxy. We're just trying to survive. And we proved that their technology isn't invincible. Bae Dong-wook added. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. As the alien fleet prepared to return to their home worlds, General Korv sent one final message to the human fleet. This isn't over, humans. The galaxy will find another way to deal with your threat. We'll be here when they do, Bae Dong-wook replied. And we'll still be willing to talk. But something had changed in those 6 hours of non-battle. Word was spreading through the galaxy about a species that could disable any ship but chose to help instead of destroy. About technology that was primitive but effective. About people who treated enemies as neighbors. The war that was supposed to end humanity had barely begun, and it had already changed everything. 6 months after the battle that wasn't a battle, Ryu Hyun-woo stood in the center of the largest meeting room ever built. Representatives from 200 species sat around a circular table that stretched for nearly a kilometer. This was the New Galactic Council, and for the first time in galactic history, it included humans. The motion to establish joint technology exchange programs has been approved, Ryu Hyun-woo announced. 47 species have volunteered to participate in the first phase. It had been a long road to this moment. After the failed invasion of Earth, the galaxy had spent months in chaos. Some species wanted to try attacking humans again. Others wanted to hide from them. A few wise ones suggested talking to them instead. Ryu Hyun-woo had been chosen to lead those talks. As head of the Galactic Integration Committee, his job was to find a way for humans and aliens to work together instead of fear each other. The Altarian Empire has a question, one of the representatives said. Commander Velith stood up. He looked different now, less proud, more thoughtful. The defeat at Earth had humbled many of the galactic powers. Our bio-neural networks are still vulnerable to human quantum interference, he said. How can we work together if your mere presence disables our technology? Nam Yu-jin stepped forward. As director of Human-Alien Technology Exchange, she had been working on this exact problem for months. We've developed hybrid systems, she explained. Technology that combines human electronic computers with alien bio-neural networks. The electronic components handle the quantum interference, while the bio-neural parts provide the advanced processing power. She activated a holographic display showing the new technology. The result is more resilient than either system alone, immune to quantum interference but still more advanced than purely electronic systems. And these hybrid systems work? Asked a representative from the Vex Collective. Better than we expected, Nam Yu-jin replied. Early tests show performance, improvements of 30 to 40% over standard bio-neural networks. An Kyung-ho watched from his seat at the council table. As the first human member of the Galactic Council, he still felt out of place sometimes. But today, he felt proud. Humanity had gone from being a threat to being a partner in less than a year. The Korthak Empire wishes to speak, another representative announced. General Korv rose slowly. His metallic body had been modified with hybrid technology, making him one of the first aliens to voluntarily adopt human-influenced systems. The Korthak Empire formally apologizes for our aggressive actions toward humanity, he said. We acted out of fear and ignorance. We now understand that diversity in technology makes us all stronger. It was a remarkable statement. The Korthak had been the most warlike species in the galaxy for centuries. Their transformation showed how much everything had changed. The apology is accepted, An Kyung-ho replied. We understand that fear makes people do things they later regret. We've all been there. The meeting continued for hours. Plans were made for joint research stations. Trade agreements were signed. Cultural exchange programs were established. The galaxy was learning to work together in ways that had never been possible before. During a break, Ryu Hyun-woo met with Nam Yu-jin in a smaller conference room. "How are the technology exchanges really going?" he asked privately. "Better than I dared hope," she replied. "The hybrid systems aren't just more resilient. They're opening up entirely new possibilities. Human creativity combined with alien processing power is producing innovations neither side could achieve alone. Any problems?" "A few species are still resistant. They see adopting human technology as admitting weakness, but most are eager to participate, especially after they see the performance improvements." "And the humans? How are they adapting to alien technology?" Nam Yu-jin smiled. "Like kids in a candy store. Our scientists are fascinated by bio-neural interfaces. They're finding ways to integrate them that the aliens never considered, such as redundant systems. Aliens integrate everything into one network. Humans prefer backup systems, independent components. The hybrid designs reflect that philosophy. Through the window, they could see construction ships building the new Galactic Research Station. It was designed using hybrid technology throughout. Human redundancy principles combined with alien efficiency. The result was a station that could function even if most of its systems failed. The meeting resumed with reports from various worlds. The Altarian Empire was retrofitting their entire fleet with hybrid systems. The Vex Collective was redesigning their cities to include electronic backups. Even isolated species that had never participated in galactic affairs were requesting human advisors. "The most remarkable change," reported one alien scientist, "is in our approach to problem solving. For millions of years, we've sought convergent solutions, everyone using the same technology, the same methods. Humans have shown us the value of divergent approaches." "Could you explain that in simpler terms?" An Kyung-ho asked. "Before humans, every species that reached space eventually developed bio-neural integration. It was the obvious solution. The best solution. Or so we thought. But humans took a different path. They kept their technology separate from their biology. That seemed primitive to us, but it turns out to be a strength." "How so?" "Diversity, redundancy, multiple approaches to the same problems. When everyone uses the same solution, everyone has the same vulnerabilities. But when different species use different approaches, they can help each other." Another alien representative added, "We're rediscovering technologies we abandoned millions of years ago. Simple electronics, mechanical systems, chemical propulsion, things we thought were obsolete. But combined with our current knowledge, they're creating entirely new possibilities." The session continued with presentations on new discoveries. Medical treatments that combined human chemistry with alien biology, propulsion systems that used electronic controls with bio-neural optimization, communication networks that couldn't be disrupted by any known interference. "There's something else," Nam Yu-jin announced during the final session. "Something we've discovered during our research into quantum interference." She activated a new display. "Humans aren't the only species with this ability. We've found evidence of at least 12 other species scattered across the galaxy, all of them isolated, all of them considered primitive by galactic standards." "Where are they?" Ryu Hyun-woo asked. "Hidden. Most of them never developed space travel because they couldn't use bio-neural technology. They were stuck with electronic systems that seemed inferior. But now they're not inferior anymore," An Kyung-ho realized. "Exactly. We're reaching out to these species, offering them partnership, sharing hybrid technology with them." General Korv spoke up. "These species could be valuable allies. If they have similar abilities to humans, they could provide redundancy for galactic defense." "Defense against what?" someone asked. "Unknown threats. The galaxy is vast. We've explored less than 10% of it. Who knows what's out there? Having multiple approaches to technology could be crucial for survival." The meeting ended with agreements to contact the isolated species, to invite them into the galactic community, to build a new civilization based on diversity rather than uniformity. As the representatives filed out, An Kyung-ho remained behind with Ryu Hyun-woo and Nam Yu-jin. "Hard to believe this all started with an accident," he said. "Maybe it wasn't really an accident," Nam Yu-jin suggested. "Maybe it was inevitable. The galaxy had become stagnant. Everyone using the same technology, thinking the same way. Something had to shake things up. And that something was humans accidentally broadcasting, "Hello, is anyone out there?" Ryu Hyunwoo laughed. "Sometimes the most important changes come from the simplest events," An Kyung-ho observed. Outside, the construction ships continued their work. The new research station was taking shape, built with technology that no single species could have created alone. It represented something new in galactic history, not conquest or domination, but cooperation and mutual benefit. 6 months ago, Kim Dae-ho had been worried about a power surge during a routine test. Now, his accident had led to the greatest period of innovation and cooperation the galaxy had ever seen. Species that had been isolated for millions of years were joining the galactic community. Technologies that had been stagnant were advancing rapidly. And for the first time in galactic history, diversity was seen as strength rather than weakness. The signal that had disrupted every ship in the galaxy had done more than announce humanity's presence. It had announced the beginning of a new age. An age where being different was valued, where primitive could be advanced, where accidents could change the course of history. And it all began with 3 simple words. "Hello? Is anyone out there?" The galaxy had answered. And it would never be the same.